Hey honey, washite, Daya wachianke. My name is Michelle from Throw Once Another Letter, and today we're going to be talking about Booktube. So we're going to be doing the Booktube oldie tag as well as the Booktube real talk tag. Both of these things are talking about YouTube, so I thought it would be a really good idea to reflect. If you didn't know, I have been posting for 6 years. Yes, that's right. Cue the confetti. The Booktube oldie tag had been posted by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and I was tagged by Alex from Pucks and Paperbacks. Question number 1, when did you start your channel? I started my channel in 2015, 2016, but it did not take off the way that I wanted to. But I thought, you know what, I'll just post to my craft channel. I already had like maybe 50 subscribers. When I first started, 50 YouTube subscribers felt like a lot. I was doing it for myself. I was doing it because I had a toddler. Question number 2, what were your staple videos when you first started versus now? When I first started, I was doing reading vlogs / individual book review type vlogs. I was also trying to kind of like a mommy vlog because I thought if I made books with picture books in them that I could gain like a mommy following, but that was not me. I was also going through a lot in my personal life because my child was exhibiting symptoms of autism, and I didn't understand what was going on, and that was really hard. So I was just like, we're gonna read books for escapism. When I look back at those videos, I'm like, he has autism. Looking through those videos, I also see my son's speech progression. Just the other day we were talking about that with my friends, and so I do get to see what it was like before, but also I kind of have to reflect on all of the things that we were going through and talking about and doing and how stressful things were, and now I feel like we have a better handle on that. So I experimented a lot when I first started. I was trying to gain traction because I thought, ooh, I'm like a native booktuber and people are going to come to my channel, and no, that's not what happened at all. Now I would say what tends to garner a lot of views are when you read a significant amount of books in a certain time and you talk about them. That for me has probably been the best. Stuff like South Dakota Teen Choice Awards, Goodreads Choice Awards, certain other types of books that I've read and talked about them, those tend to get me more views and more engagement than if I was just talking about TBR or if I did a reading vlog. What was your favorite book when you first started your channel versus now? When I first started my channel, I was reading stuff like Sanjay Menon and Casey West and Christina Lauren. Like when I was reading books by diverse authors, it was because it was like a one-off. I remember back then a lot of people were like, you need to be reading this book and you need to be reading that book, and if you don't read that, then you're a horrible fucking person. And I was like, okay, first off, my library sucks in the way that we do not have the same books that maybe you would at your mega library, at your big library, because let me guess, you live in a big city, right? Okay, well, where I live, it hasn't been classified as a city yet. Maybe give it a couple years and then it'll be a city, but for right now, it's a town. So we're going to get a different selection of books than maybe you would. And it also really depends on the person who's ordering the books for that section. And at the time, the person who was ordering the books in that section sucked. The person ordering the books in this section now, a lot better at recognizing when a book needs to be ordered. And the budget is small, which I really hate for them. How has your reading and the reading trend of the community changed since you first started Booktube? For one, I read more diversely. When I first started, I had read Don Quigley's Apple in the Middle. Love it, still a favorite. And I'd also read Black Indian by Shonda Buchanan. And that was the first time I'd actually reached out to an author and been like, hey, I would love to read your book, because I was looking online trying to see what I could find, and that was one of them that was like, oh, this is coming out next year, blah 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 blah, and I was so excited. Since then, I have received at least over 50 books with Indigenous representation. I also have a really great relationship with Cynthia Lydic Smith, Erica Worth, David Haskell Wimley Whiten. These are people that I could go to and be like, hey, da 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 da. Like, I could literally message some of these people like the stupidest fucking thing, and they'll still message back with like the nicest fucking thing. But as for the reading trend of the community, I would say that I don't really give a F about big trends anymore when it comes to anticipated releases or anticipated reads. There are maybe like a few, but if it's not Indigenous, like I'll get it when I can think about it, go through and look at YouTube videos, and I will save the ones, especially when I know they're talking about something that I want to read, and I'll write it down somewhere in my journal, but it's not in the front of my mind. The things that I prioritize the most is Indigenous literature. Now, I might not always read Indigenous literature right away, but it's still my priority in thinking about it and trying to talk about it and trying to bring it to people. Anything about my life that has changed since starting my channel? Ooh, okay. One thing that I've asked for as an Indigenous creator is inclusion and intersectionality. I've been featured by Book Riot. I have co-hosted multiple readathons as well as hosted my own readathons, sat in on multiple live shows, collaborated with some really great people, and I have gotten to know so many amazing people, and I have now found a really great group of Indigenous bookish creators as well as authors, and that really warms my heart because when I first started, I only knew like 3 people. We deserve to have our own voice and we deserve to take up space. Why do you keep making videos? I make videos for the 15-year-old me, so I had very little access to books that were really going to move me in terms of Indigenous literature. Now I have found books and have read amazing things and connected with people that look like me and sound like me, and even the ones that don't look like me, we are all still Indigenous people. We all still count. And she was so frustrated because all she wanted to do was connect to her people. All she wanted to do was connect to her culture, and that door was slammed in her fucking face. She is learning so much more now. Here she is. It's me. It's me. It's Indigenous authors and Indigenous peoples that treat you like family, and it makes you feel so at home. I make videos for her. I make videos for that girl, for that 15-year-old me that just wanted to feel represented, and now she is. What are you excited about, hoping for in the future of BookTube? I would love to see more Indigenous booktubers, book talkers taking up space, and for YouTube and publishing to take notice and include us in more shit. It's not enough to just be included from other YouTubers, from other people who make content. It needs to be publishing. It needs to be companies. It needs to be all of these other people that make change in the world or that start things in the world. It needs to be more of those people saying, oh, hey, we need to give these people space. When I first started, I remember there was a book con and there was a whole thing about like, oh, well, there was like, everybody in that picture is white. Yeah, everybody was white in that fucking picture. There was maybe like 5 people of color in that picture. That was it. That was like when I first started. But now there's so many more of us out in the world making content. I want YouTube to notice. I want big companies to notice and say, hey, we need to amplify the voices of these people and to give them more, just give us more. I want to be able to go to a New York, have an all expense fucking paid trip, go to New York, look at the HarperCollins place, look at where they make Heart Drum books, look at where they make Living Querido books, look at where they make fucking Penguin Teen books. I want to see all of it. I want them to message us and say, hey, we are really interested in you. Come and look at this. Come and look at us. See what we can do for you. See what can happen. I want them to notice the possibilities and to amplify our voices because we have a very strong voice. We've been here for thousands of years. Like, I want to be able to go to a convention because they want to hear me talk. They want to hear me talk. They want to hear Naomi talk. They want to hear Caitlin talk. They want to hear Wheezy talk. They want to hear Danny. They want to hear Aaron. They want to hear Kim. They want to hear all of these fucking people talk. I aspire to be that voice that 15-year-old me can talk to. And who knows, maybe there's a 15-year-old me out there that is just now getting around to reading because it's been this or that, or maybe somebody's kid or somebody's mom or somebody sees my video for the first time and is like, ooh, I like that, I'm gonna click on more of that. Or I found them and their friend and somebody else, and I've had so much fun watching these videos. That's what I aspire to be. And if I'm tagging people, I'm tagging Margaret, I'm tagging Connor. If you haven't done the tag yet, you should do the tag. We're gonna go into the part 2 of it. We're gonna go to the real talk tag because I'm all amped up now. So the OG has since deleted, I think, the channel, or I don't know, but I saw it via Bookables. So number 1, what's something nobody told you about BookTube before you started your channel? What is your opinion on typical BookTube videos like wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls? I think they are great ways to garner views, especially TBRs, because if you see what somebody's going to read, you can check back in a month and see if they read it or not. And if they didn't, they're eventually going to read it or they're going to unhaul it. It's one of the two things. Hauls are good because they can build an expectation. So if you hauled something, they're like, ooh, I love the fact that you have that. Eventually, you're going to feature it in a reading vlog or you're going to feature it somewhere else, right? Honestly, I would say that wrap-ups are probably a mixed bag for me. I think it just depends on the way that is presented. The only reason I'm going to watch it is because it's like my friend or somebody that whose opinion I really care about. So usually I'll listen in like the first few parts of it, but other than that, it's for me, which is why I don't really make a whole lot of wrap-ups, because I would say that wrap-ups are more so for accountability to oneself. You can look back at a wrap-up 5 years later and be like, wow, what is an assumption that you had about BookTube before you joined, and was it to be proven correct or not? So I really thought that I had to have like an aesthetic before I started on BookTube, or like the super white shiny bookshelves, or like the makeup, which honestly is kind of true. You see a lot of booktubers start with like not very good backgrounds. Like my background's not that great. We're getting there, okay? Like I could only buy so much shit. For me, I would love to make a video where you see the background and there's like purple glow, you know? I find that some of those do a lot better. I really enjoy like Nicole Raffi and the way that she gets pictures printed out at CVS and she'll put them in big frames, so then when she's talking she can like point to it. I find the ways that other YouTubers make their content and the way that they include certain things, I find it really interesting. I find that as long as people can see you, or if you're like holding up a book, as long as they can see the book and see what like the title might be or what who the author might be, they don't give a shit. I will say your thumbnails make a big difference as well. What is something that you've done that has actually helped you grow an audience? That would have to be watching videos about YouTube as well as listening to my friends. Alex from Pucks and Paperbacks is a large credit to the success of my channel, as well as Rachel from Reads with Rachel. Alex has taught me a lot about thumbnails and analytics, because I'll send him a picture of an analytic and I'll be like, I don't understand what the fuck this is talking about. And he'll be like, oh, it means da 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 da. When in terms of thumbnails, I could send a picture to Rachel and be like, hey, can you read this? And she'll be like, I can't read that. This is the better font. This would be a better font for you. What is a common mistake you see booktubers making or you've made yourself? The very cringy, awkward music when you first start, the do 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 do, like that ukulele shit. No. Also, there's some people when they first start, they speak really, really softly, like this, because they're really shy, because they haven't, like, made a relationship with their camera yet, and, they haven't found their cadence yet. They haven't found how they like to talk. And there's one, when I listen to this person, I'm asthmatic, don't get me wrong. When I hear this person talk, they get way too breathy and way too winded and they don't breathe. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, calm the fuck down. You're not fucking JoJo Siwa. You're not that one, what is that one girl when she starts, and she talks like this and she's super duper excited? You're not trying to be JoJo Siwa. You're not trying to be Jimmy Fallon. Calm the fuck down. And also, if you have something in the background, something that you can't control, that's fine. But if you have something that you have on in the background and you can control that, turn that shit off. If we can hear your fan that's been blaring for the last 20 minutes, talk like you're talking to a friend. So like I'm talking to my friends right now, right here. I might get a little breathy, but I try to edit that shit out. I can't even talk about it. What are your thoughts on working with sponsorships and publishers? For one, in my whole entire 6 years of being on this book sphere, I have never been sponsored. I have been emailed about being sponsored and then ghosted. But in terms of publishers, most of them are willing to work with you. The people that do the most are the publicists. I tip my hat off to you. If I were to be sponsored, I would love to get a Yop and Tom sponsorship or a sponsorship from a journal like Notebook Therapy or a stationery company, something like that. Do you think BookTube is dying? I don't think it's dying. Personally, I think the algorithm changes so much that the people only see their favorites or their surface level like mega tubers. If you want to see something more niche, you have to look for it. Don't just look with your eyes, look with your hands. The way that BookTube operates eventually is going to have to change, because Book Talk is started, like right now, I have almost twice the amount of Book Talk followers than I do BookTube followers. And that's really sad. But I love making BookTube content. Do I love making Book Talk content? Sometimes I don't even want to go there. You know, what I did really enjoy making was like journal content. There was journal content that I could make with my iPad on there that is really hard for me to make here. Like I would have to get a thing that like overhangs. That's really why you haven't seen very much journal content, because I'd have to make that shit work somehow. But once I get something that will like hang over, you will see a ton of shit. That is one of my goals, I would say, is to become a plan with me girly. Reading vlogs and bread and butter videos are only gonna work for so long before you need to come up with something else or incorporate it in a certain way. What I hate it, but look at true crime. You have some people that bring up certain cases and certain types of murderers or certain types of things, and it's all done in a really interesting way, or it's done in a way that also incorporates something else. Also have people that talk about like Emma the Asshole stuff. Those are interesting because they're like, oh yeah, I'm just like cuddling up with my best friend and like talking about all these issues. For me, when I do Emma the Assholes, I love including my husband because he's fucking goofy. I would say no, it's not dying. It just needs to change in a way that will be recognized by the algorithm and also recognized by multiple, not just the eyes of the people in that niche, but also in outside of that. And once you see more of that, I think it will be easier, because right now when you're talking about book, you're thinking of like the mega book people. But once you get into the niche, you start learning about other things, you start learning about other subjects and genres. But on the tip of it, you're gonna see people like Destiny and Haley Pham and Jack Edwards or Daniel Green. You're gonna see that kind of thing. You're not gonna see all of these other cool people. That's my opinion on that. You can take it or leave it. If you have any other comments or any other things, put those down below. I don't like to talk about BookTube very much just because I feel like a lot of the same angles, a lot of the same things have already been done. I feel like it creates more discourse than it actually solves. Like you see the same shit every single fucking month. I don't have time for that. I don't have the emotional energy for that. I like talking about this stuff because I've been on BookTube officially for 6 years, and that's just mind-boggling to me that I've stuck with something for so long. That is it for me today. I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that you're hydrating. I hope that you're nourishing yourself. I need to nourish myself very soon. I think it's really important to not only take care of yourself, but also to discover what it is that you want to look at, whatever you want to read, what you want to create. If you want to become a patron, all my links are down below. My Kofi is down below. I would really love if you would put some engagement down. Share this with your friend, share this with your buddy, share this with your mom or your aunt or whoever, somebody cool. Okay, or if you know of like an indigenous friend and you want to send them over here, hello, hi. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe, if you like it, whatever. I am trying to get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. If you have a suggestion for a video, put that down below. If you made it all the way through, give me like an emoji. Whatever emoji you want to put down. I will see you all later.
What is going on with me?
Bye. Yes, I can drive very well.
I'm trying to get a bunch of bitches to kneel.
Jonathan?
As if I don't like it. I don't like it.
Cut the check. Cut the check.
Get that bitch off the monitor.
Where's my husband?
Baby spider, baby spider. Squirrels are scary, man.